Hey, Homemakers. Can I share something hard with you? I'm going to read a text message that I sent a friend when I was in a completely burned out, exhausted state of homemaking drudgery. I quote, "I hate this. I'm not cut out for it. Every day feels like I'm trudging through molasses. I just want to escape. I feel like a terrible mom and homemaker. These days are dreadfully long and horrible. I wish there were less hours in a day so I didn't have to do this for so long." Yikes, right? Can any of you relate to this? I'm sure that there is someone watching who can totally relate to these feelings that I expressed to my friend. And I want you to know that you're not alone. But God had a plan of redemption, you guys. He carried me through that season and taught me how to transform my heart and my home. Now I'm sharing what he taught me so that you can find joy in homemaking too if you are going through similar struggles. Today I'm giving you 4 practical tips to overcome the drudgery and rediscover joy in your homemaking journey. Okay, so let's get right into it. Tip number 1 is focus on what really matters. Do you ever feel like you're doing all the right things, but you're still drained? That was me. Always busy, always anxious, and I realized I was being such a Martha. In Luke's gospel, we see Martha busy serving, while Mary sits at Jesus' feet, soaking in his teaching. When Martha asks Jesus to make Mary help, he gently tells her, "You're anxious about many things, but Mary has chosen the good portion." Homemaking can become drudgery when we focus on doing instead of being. Yes, it's important to get our tasks done, but our first priority ought to be drawing closer to the Lord, building a strong marriage, discipling our children, and then last and truly least is tending to our homes. When we get these priorities right, the tasks of homemaking become an act of worship and not simply a burden. So start your day at Jesus' feet and let him set the tone for how you joyfully serve your family. Tip number 2 is to find mentors. God never meant for us to do this alone. In Titus 2, older women are called to teach and encourage younger women, but mentors don't have to be much older. They can be moms just a step ahead of you in motherhood. These women are in the trenches with you, but they have enough perspective to guide you and to answer questions that you may have about things that you're struggling with right now in your homemaking journey. So pray for God to connect you with someone who can walk alongside you. When you find her, ask for advice, share your struggles, and let her encourage you. Don't be shy about what you're going through. People love to help other homemakers, especially with things that they've dealt with in the past. We grow when we're in community with each other, so seek out those who can pour into you. Tip number 3, be playful. Are you often annoyed with your family? Okay, here is my simple tip. Be playful. A simple shift in response to annoying habits from our family turn a normally stressful situation into something that'll add joy to your home. Okay, so an example would be, let's say your husband is zoning out when you're trying to talk to him. I'm sure nobody can relate to this, right? Okay, so it's very tempting to bicker and say something like, "Ugh, you never listen to me when I talk," or "Are you even listening to me?" Instead, try doing this. Walk up to your husband, take his face in your hands, and in a playful tone say, "Hey, can't you see I'm talking?" It works every time. Another example would be, let's say your children aren't listening. This can become so frustrating and annoying, but let's shift that frustration to being playful. Try this. Playfully respond by saying, "Okay, children, seems like we have a listening problem today. Time to practice. Let's do 5 jumping jacks." So then they do 5 jumping jacks. Great! Now let's see how fast you can run a lap around the house. Woohoo! Good job! Now let's see how fast we can clean up these blocks. You get the idea. Sure, there are times where a serious conversation is needed, but I find that most of the time, if we homemakers can be playful, we can eliminate the need for reprimands and bickering. Playfulness is a wonderful way to calm your nervous system too. Tip number 4. This one comes from my husband, who frequently tells me this. It's like his life motto. And he says, sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. And I would add, at least not right now. And maybe not ever. By this, I mean stop responding in the heat of the moment. It's destructive. A product of fight or flight is feeling like you're going to die if you don't respond to an issue right away. Marriage and motherhood have taught me that if I'm angry, I'm not qualified to respond. This can be about anything from a disobeying toddler to a disagreement with your husband to even a crying baby. So let's take the disagreement with your husband. Can you let it go for a while and just pray about it? Then release it to the Lord to either convict you about how you are wrong about the issue or convict your husband. Then, as some time has passed, allow the Holy Spirit to guide you in how you bring it up to your husband. All right, now how about the crying baby? So you're, of course, designed to respond to your crying baby. So likely when your baby's crying, it sparks your fight or flight response. But what if you're also doing something with your toddler at the same time, or cooking dinner, or the myriad of other things that homemakers have to do at any given moment? Sometimes the best thing to do is just let the baby sort it out so that you can finish whatever you need to. The baby will be all right. I know that many moms are paralyzed and don't want to start on projects or chores or, reading a book to their toddler or any number of tasks because what if the baby cries right in the middle of the task? It's okay. Cook the dinner, take the shower, read the book. The baby will be just fine crying for a little bit. Okay, let's take the disobeying toddler. If you feel your fight or flight response being activated, then you shouldn't respond in the moment. I know it's hard because you feel like you absolutely must respond this instant, but the fact is that you don't, and frankly, you shouldn't. You would be better off sending the child to a different area of the house until you've cooled off and calmed down a bit. The discipline and instruction that you give after you've calmed down will be much more productive, trust me. So remember, sometimes the best thing to do is nothing, at least not yet. So these are just a few simple tips that helped me transform my heart and my home. If you're feeling stuck in homemaking and you're feeling that drudgery that I talked about before and you're just feeling burnt out, know that God is with you. He's writing your redemption story just like he wrote mine. Start with one small step today. Maybe it's sitting at Jesus' feet, reaching out to a mentor, or choosing playfulness instead of frustration. Little by little, God will transform your heart and your home. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, you're never alone in this journey. I would love for you to consider subscribing to my channel and sharing this video with another homemaker. Thanks so much.